All right, we're live. What's up, Greeno?
What's going on, brother?
Not much. We got a special guest in the house, the legendary
Where is he?
Jason McMaster from Watchtower, Dangerous Toys, Broken Teeth, Igniter, among others. You have
Too many. It's like the show's over by the time you get to the end of the list.
Man, I'm super excited to have you join us tonight. This is awesome.
Well, thanks for having me. You know, before we went live, I was chatting you guys up, and it's, this is a nerd fest. And during COVID, I've been doing tons of nerd fests.
Right on.
And it's warm inside to know that I'm, sometimes I feel like I'm alone, a lonely nerd, and I'm not.
No,
we're all out here, man. That's
right. I love it so much.
George and I jumped into this thing called the vinyl community on Facebook or on YouTube.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Yeah, about 10. Yeah.
We found a bunch of us. We're out here, man.
Yeah.
That's where me and Greeno first hooked up probably 10 years ago. And then we would meet at like record shows out this way. And
there's something cool. Let's jump into this if you don't mind me going first.
Not at all.
Go for it, man.
I really like the idea that, heavy metal and hard rock people, men, women, boys, girls, whatever you are, when you're in a crowd of people, not so much anymore, but when you're in a crowd of people, and you're most metalheads and people I've sort of painted into a corner here, they're shy. They are, metalheads are, kind of shy, and the people don't believe that when I say that, but think about it a little bit. James Hetfield, shyest dude. I've heard so many people say James was so freaking shy. Mm-hmm. Anyway, my point, you're in a crowd of people. Oh, here you go. First one, first day of school. This is perfect. Yep. First day of school, you're new in town. Keep adding shit like that on there. It happened to me. It's like, dude, I'm starting 11th grade in a totally new town, don't know anyone. And it's summertime in Texas, and or whatever, spring, right? August, right? September, whatever. Hot as shit. Well, we don't have seasons in Texas, so it's just hot all the time. Anyway, so I got my leather jacket on. Texas leather jacket, right?
Representing.
And I'm in the cafeteria. Don't know anybody. I'm like, oh, I get better. So, here's the cafeteria. I'm still learning the school. I don't know where I'm at, And I look over to the right. I'm drawn to the right, and there's this long hair with a chair propped up against a wall, leaning against a wall, looking cool, trying to look cool. It's leaning the chair back, being a bad boy, right? Bad News Bears over here. And long hair, wearing a Motorhead shirt. This is in 81. Ace of Spades was brand new.
Wow. Yep.
Guy wearing a Motorhead shirt.
That's killer.
I walked over to him. I was like, dude, I'm new here. I don't know anybody. You know anybody looking for a bass player? He goes, yeah, me. Love at first sight. I didn't go ask the guy wearing the Izod if he was looking for a bass player.
Right.
So that man was Mike Solis, who is still like my best bro ever. You know what I'm saying? So it's stuff like that is how you guys found each other. How we all find where we're going, because that T-shirt, that record, that you're hanging out in a record store or whatever, and you meet your best friends over in the metal section.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many conversations started from wearing a shirt.
Yeah, you start seeing those people at concerts.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, you're having dinner at their house. It's a thing. It's a freaking thing. Mm-hmm. It ain't going anywhere. I don't care what the format or what the platform is. It ain't going anywhere. And it's been that way for my whole life.
And you're kind of right. Like the hard rock metal thing is it's an underground thing. Even in the 80s, it was a little underground, even though it got huge. But that T-shirt, those records and all that. That's what drew everybody together. And it's the same thing that we did on here. A couple guys started making videos just showing records. And the next thing you know, you're like, hey, I can do that. And then you start talking to each other, and then there's like 20 more of us. You know, it's so cool to find like-minded people, because like you said, you know, a lot of times you feel a little alone, you know what I mean, with this kind of music.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's true. Anyway, so yeah, you guys were just mentioning. Sorry, I talk a lot. That was a long intro.
That's
but
okay.
Think how you guys got your thing going, because it's related. It's a thing. It's the reason I'm here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
that's what I was telling Greeno, and when I emailed you, Jason, about the night I met you the first time was the night at the Tower Theater, and you guys walked in the lobby instead of the side door, and you stood there and you were behind me, and I did one of these and looked back, and I was like, hey, wait, I know this dude. Where do I know this guy from? And then it like split second thing, and I'm like, oh shit. And then we started talking, and then it was like 20 minutes later, you're like, hey, I guess where's the backstage? And I'm like, well, we had to walk down the side. Remember, I don't know if you remember the Tower Theater, but you had to walk down this long side hallway to get back there. And then we waited around afterwards, and that's what I said in the email, that I thought you had fallen at that Philly show.
No,
and you said it was at the Ritz.
It was at the Ritz in New York. I would never forget that. How would I forget that? Right. Because it was it was prime time of my career. You know, I was a hot potato, right? And it was we were doing a photo shoot in the basement, and it was after we only played the Ritz 2 times. So you're saying it was the LA Guns tour. So that's November '89.
Yep.
That is.
Yep.
And so that's, so it would have been that same tour at the Ritz, either a day prior, 2 days prior.
It must have been the day before, because the Ritz was only a couple hours from here. But the only reason I thought it was that night, because Scott Dalhoover had said, oh, he hit his head, and I think he has a concussion. And I must have just assumed that it happened that night, after you had come off the stage that night. Because it was like, after the show that night, you were hurting pretty good. I don't know, it was from
I was a little confused, and we're just worried about it. I don't want to have to cancel any shows because
No, but like when we talked beforehand, everything seemed cool. And then it seemed like right after you did the show, I don't know if it was because of the adrenaline was gone, maybe a
little dizzy.
Yeah, but you were definitely hurting. I remember, because that's why I asked Scott. I'm like, is he doing all? Is he okay?
Yeah,
and he's like, oh, he hit his head.
Actually, I didn't go to the doctor in New York, because I know this. We were doing a photo shoot, and the limo, it's fucking limo. They had a fucking limo for us. I hate those fucking things. Because it's like, look at me, look at me. Who's in the limo? It's so douchebag town, So there's a limo, and it'd been waiting the whole time, like for an hour. We're late. We're doing a photo shoot. It's crazy. My tour manager's dragging, come on, guys, we got, the photographer, hold on, we got one more roll, and da 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 da. And I've never seen any of those photos that were, whoever that shoot in the basement of the Ritz probably just wasted our time and theirs. Anyway, so we're hauling ass. And the Ritz has these low cement beams. Shit, dude, you're basically underground in the city,
right.
East Coast, anywhere, right? So these beams are just, short people built those basements.
That's what we said. Our families.
It's like almost scalped me.
Yep.
Wow.
And because I was like, hey, the car's this way, boom. Stars and bluebirds just swimming around my head like a cartoon. and it did. I was like, oh my God, and I knew it was bad, but I was like, because we were on our way to do like we were gonna jump up with some dudes in Brittany Fox or something, and do some AC/DC tunes or something at a concrete marketing. Bob, I don't know.
Yeah, I was there with Johnny and Michael from Brittany. They're two of my best friends. Yeah.
Yeah. So we went to that thing. It was in New York, though.
Yep.
Yeah. You were at that too?
I was at that with John and Mike. Yeah.
Dude, it had just happened. That's when that happened. It had just happened. So you saw me like immediately, and maybe you just didn't see me up close.
No, because I didn't see you till. I mean, I didn't really see. Yeah, I didn't see you till the next day or the
next
at the show.
You're showing me where everything is because I don't know my name.
Well, no, I mean, I think that was the first time you were there too, so I assumed. All right, I'll just show them where they are, because they walked in the wrong door or something.
5 dumbasses from Texas don't know where shit is,
No, it was cool because it was like it was funny because when you walked in, it was like right at the peak of, I think, Teasing, Pleasing, and Scared had just kind of took off.
Well, yeah, that was.
But nobody kind of, everybody in the lobby was just kind of looking around and saw you guys walk in, but didn't like. They were just kind of, they didn't kind of like bother you. You know what I mean? They were just kind of, oh, look,
we weren't walking in the front because we were looking for attention. We were walking in the front, like, because the back door was locked.
Yeah, right.
The bus was parking, or we had gone to eat. And that could have been that we ate at a diner down the street and so just walked to the venue and couldn't find the back door, so we just went in the front.
Yeah, it was funny.
And we always like to check those old theaters we were playing with on that LA Guns tour. Dude, we love the Star, the Ritz, all that stuff. Man, we would go exploring. So we liked
that.
The Tower was the last show I saw at the Tower. There was Prince. I went and saw Prince there, and that was a while ago. But
oh man,
it's still there. I just haven't been down. There hasn't been any shows there to be.
Those old theaters, those old American show theaters, showrooms are an amazing. I hope they don't tear that shit down.
Nah, that one should be okay anyway. The Tower.
They're historical markers.
Yeah. So the next time, I think you guys were. Well, I gave you my phone number that night, and then ever since then, or ever that tour, and then you guys did the Cult tour, I think.
Yeah.
And Operation Rock and Roll.
Played the Spectrum.
Yep, and we were all together at those shows too.
So that's the Dangerous Toys era. Right?
Yeah, that's Dangerous Toys there.
Let's hold on a second, if you guys don't mind.
No, I know. Greeno wants to talk Watchtower, right?
Well, I'd kind of like just to start from the beginning, Jason. Like, you're basically based out of Austin. Have you been there pretty much your whole life, or?
I was born in Corpus Christi, Texas, down on the Gulf of Mexico, and normal childhood. Got into rock and roll. Had 3 older brothers. I'm sorry, one younger. Had 3 brothers, 2 older, 1 younger. And they all turned me on to their record collection. I had friends in the neighborhood that had older brothers as well. And there was their record collection. So it was just like of a matter of since I was in like 3rd, 4th grade, I was just into Elton John and Queen, and then Kiss and UFO, and then Lizzie, and Rush and UFO and Ted Nugent and just all of the good early rock, and Kiss really sort of seemed like they were having all the fun, right? And I was completely obsessed with Gene Simmons because I liked scary movies, and he was like a total monster, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing, from just little kid all the way my whole life. So
I've always said Kiss is like the Beatles of our generation. You know what I mean? They got so many of these guys into music.
Yeah. Anyway, so to fast forward, I played a little bit. I was in my first band down there in Corpus, and I moved to Austin in like 80, 81. And, a lot of stuff in music was happening right then and there. You know, you had Judas Priest with British Steel, and Dio had just joined Black Sabbath, and all of this wild, and Ozzy was about to put out Crazy Train. It was like right about to drop, and just all of this awesome shit, which sort of started to think heavy metal is this starting to become this term that everyone is going to understand, that is not just whatever's on the radio.
Right.
It's going to be more of a lifestyle for someone. Because if you're a headbanger, you like rock and roll too. You're
hard rock and metal.
Some of us are not very open-minded, but over time we realize, oh man, that shit I was growing up on, Queen and Elton John, they were kind of writing. They were like proto heavy metal. I mean, especially Queen.
Yeah.
Dude, Queen was writing any kind of song ever. They could write any kind of song they wanted, and some of it was metal. Death on Two Legs is a drop D with a riff that sounds like Black Sabbath wrote it. It's incredible. And that's in like 73 or some shit. Anyway, my point is moved to Austin, started a band. I was a bass player, wasn't a singer yet. Started playing with the dude I met in the cafeteria, Mike. Mm-hmm. He played drums, I played bass, and we had just, little band playing some covers and shit. And I ended up, that band was called Fallen Angel. I first started singing in that band, and I wasn't very good. I wasn't trying to be good. We weren't, it wasn't like we're trying to get a record deal. We just were, happy that we could start a song and end a song together. And kind of tight, and then we just started playing, just like everybody else, backyard parties, and we're too young to play a bar or something, so we're just doing our own thing, and the world is never going to end as long as we can play heavy metal, and that kind of ended, and I was looking for another guitar player. And I found this card that said Watchtower at a music store. And I had heard of this band, didn't know any of the dudes or anything. And the phone numbers were on it, and it said Billy White. And I called the number, and I said, hey, you don't know me, but I'm just looking. I'm not trying to headhunt you. I'm trying to, find like-minded folks. I'm only been in town a year and blah, blah. And Fallen Angel, I've only been singing 6 months. I've heard of you, were the words that came out. I was like, how is that even possible? He's like, heavy metal dudes in Austin, Texas, which is a Fender town, singer, songwriter, country western, and right. I'm like, wow. Because, Willie and there was tons of rock coming through here. Everybody played here on their first tour. AC/DC started their U.S. tour here. Yep. I think Judas Priest used to start their tours in Texas. And this would have been in the 70s. Anyway, but legendary town. Austin's legendary for all kinds of music, obviously. Mm-hmm. But when you think about it from a local standpoint, you don't think about it being a headbanger town, right? So I hit it off with them, and I became their singer pretty much overnight. And I was in that band like 8 years. And it's arguable that we inadvertently created an arguable term here, arguable factoid, if you can argue if you want, that we pioneered basically progressive metal.
I kind of want to ask you about that. I mean, is that something you guys set out to be as technical as you could, or is this just like kind of the road you end up on, the path you ended up on?
Well, we were 17 and 18 years old, some of us still in high school, and I don't know how anyone as dumb as they are when they're in fucking high school can set out to do anything right.
Well, I get you.
I think that it was pretty awesome, George, like that. I think it's pretty awesome that a band like Def Leppard could be, young and dumb and crazy enough to want to just do it for the same reasons that everybody else was doing it, but to make a record and go on tour so early when they were that young is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'll give credit that we understood what it was we were doing, but we didn't do it to, like, we're the most technical band in the. It wasn't, it wasn't this like badge or anything. It was just.
Right. But I mean, were you guys looking at Priest and Rush, and it's like, how can we kind of?
We covered from Saxon and Twisted Sister and Riot to Raven and Accept when those bands were brand new. This was in May of '82. It was my first day. The day that I joined was early May of 1982, and I would have been 18, 17, 18. So 88, 17.
That's crazy.
Wow.
And so, no, yeah. That's how old I was. Shit, I'm old as fuck. I can't. We were all young, and so covers Priest, and we did some Queensryche, and we did tons of Rush, tons of Iron Maiden. We probably did 12 Rush songs and about 10 Iron Maiden songs, and those guys were into technical players. They were into all kinds of they were into this band UK. They were into Missing Persons. So crosses between like sort of technical new wave music and like they were super open-minded about progressive music and new music and things like that.
Cool.
But their biggest thing that they really loved to do no wrong was Rush.
Right on.
And so they worshipped all of the players in that. But when I met Billy White that day that I called him and he invited me over, I took my bass and my amp and I walked in trying to be all cool and shit. And he just picked up his guitar and started playing, Randy Rhoads solos. And I was like, I'm putting my shit back in the car. I won't be playing my bass today. Yeah. So, after that, we just, like I said, we just hit it off, and who knew that we would become, at least on some levels, especially in the underground, basically some kind of like weird progressive metal hero and pioneers.
Definitely have a cult following, like
for sure. Yeah.
I mean, I pulled out.
There
it is. Black on black.
Jacket.
I got the real. Yeah, I got the. Oh, there you go. He's got the Watchtower
jacket.
Hell
yeah. Right on.
Nice embroidered. There's a good story to this. There's only 2 of these jackets in the world.
Wow.
I was in Germany early last year, and playing the Keep It True Festival with a project that's put together by some friends of mine in San Antonio, and it's members of all the Texas, like from the early 80s, the Texas metal bands like Mike Solis, the guy from the Cafeteria. He ended up singing in a thrash band called Militia.
Yeah.
So
okay. Yeah.
Me and him from Militia, originally, well, we did do some gigs in Texas, some warm-up shows before we went to Germany and it was the Ghidra. It was the 3-headed monster. It was me, Mike from Militia, and James from Hellstar.
Holy shit.
You were the 3 singers. Yeah.
Wow.
We had 3 guitar players too. It was Bob from San Antonio Slayer, Juggernaut, Ron Jarzambek from San Antonio Slayer, Watchtower, and then Art Villarreal from San Antonio Slayer, Carry On.
Holy shit.
And who also is now in Militia. So, and then the bass player was Scott Womack from Juggernaut, and the drummer played in Evil Mothers with Bob from Slayer, and da-da-da-da-da. So it was this Texas coalition, and we did some gigs for fun, and the promoter at Keep It True saw video of our gig, and it was like, where do I sign to get you guys to Germany this year?
Oh, nice.
Right here. So we were in Germany. Anyway, so I'm at the gig, and we've already played, and I'm walking around and just enjoying because it's like church, it's like, if you guys would freak out, it's like being at those godly German heavy metal festivals. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And, all those old bands that used to be on Metal Blade and all those old, Midnight played, Culprit played.
Oh wow!
Some of the bands didn't make it. Agent Steel was on the bill.
That's Keep It True.
Keep It True. Anyway,
yeah,
so
I've seen some of the bills for those. It's nice.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Here's a flyer for one right here. Yeah, here's the flyer for one of them right here. And this is Candlemass, Fifth Angel, Savage Grace. This is one with Watchtower on it. This was in 2010. Demon, Whiplash, Hades, Thor, some shit I can't pronounce. Tigers of Bang, Satan's Host, Obsession.
Holy crap.
Yeah, man. Crystal Viper, White Wizard, Siren. The list goes on.
Hey,
and
can you
same venue as that, but
can you highlight Bit Bop Boom there at the bottom?
Me? Oh yeah.
John says he has an original of the Watchtower LP. How many did you guys, how many did you press of that?
Well, it was about 1,000 of these.
Wow.
Right on.
This is still wrapped.
There you go.
Right on.
Yeah, I have it on vinyl too.
1985, right there, and it's still wrapped.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah. I think there was a first pressing and a second pressing. The first pressing was only 1,000, and then I think there was another 1,000. You know, maybe a year later or something like that. But that's it of the original pressings.
Right.
In the first pressing, I think the labels on the vinyl were backwards.
Oh, really?
That's how you tell them apart.
Okay.
Wow.
Not to mention, there's vinyl nerds that can look at the record on the little etching and tell you which one's first. Yeah,
that's cool. I know, like Monster Records reissued it on CD years ago. I remember
that was an excellent reissue. The booklet was like this freaking thick, and they did a really, really good job. And I got to be involved a little bit of that. And then they did a Demonstrations in Chaos record, which I really helped put together. And I was really happy with the way that came out as well. And that was demos with, it was all me. It was all Jason vocals, but it was songs from the second record, which had Alan on vocals.
Mm-hmm.
Demos with me singing, and it was live versions with me singing of song. I loved like basically half the record or more of Control and Resistance. And so that was a cool thing for fans, especially the ones who thought that Alan was the first singer for Watchtower, or that Control and Resistance was the first Watchtower album.
Right?
Yeah.
The young whippersnappers need to know where it came from.
So basically,
it's like, hey, have you heard Sammy Hagar's new band? They're called Van Halen. It was like I was going to make sure that everyone knew.
So as you leave Watchtower, you're going into Dangerous Toys, and that Watchtower ends up getting signed to, is it Noise? Was that who they were signed to?
Noise International, yeah. And, I was basically the one calling Alan Tecchio from Hades, because we were pen pals. I was pen pals with everybody back then. And I was like, man, you'd be a great fit with this. And I don't want to leave these guys hanging because, it was really hard for me to leave Watchtower. I think that I had a really good chance to do a lot of things that I wanted to do musically. And, one of them was just see the world and travel, and do it for real, and it was kind of like an overnight sensation, and it was kind of a gamble too, because Watchtower was my baby. We cultured that thing, and it was an underground sort of phenomenon because of the style of music that we fucking created. And so it was hard, but it was one of those gambles that I took, and I'm glad I did, because there's so many things that I've gotten to do on my terms because of that decision. You know what I mean? Whether people, oh man, you should have stayed in Watchtower, the hardcores, and I don't blame them, but it's hard for them to see it the way I see it now, because and it's not like an ego thing, but it's just because of a business thing or the things that I've gotten to see and do because I said yes to the Dangerous Toys thing.
Right.
And
well, yeah,
were they a band before you joined?
They had a female singer.
Oh, okay.
And they were called Onyx. Like ONYXX.
Now, did they ever
Black Rock?
Did they ever do any demos or anything before you?
I think that they did. I think that they did, and they had some original songs and stuff with her singing. Her name was Terry, and how it went down was they had a falling out, whatever it was, and the guys came and visited me. They had seen Watchtower. A couple of those guys came to see Watchtower a few times, and we're friends with Billy. And anyway, they came to my work. I worked at a pizza restaurant called Pantera's Pizza. It was a local thing. It was that would have been in 87, sometime late 87. And they came in and they were like, "Hey, we lost our singer. You want to come like just fill in for fun?" I go, "Man, that sounds kind of fun." Yeah, sure. And I'd done a little bit of moonlighting with some cover bands on the side, just jamming with different people, and was having fun singing cock rock with other bands because Watchtower was not cock rock. It was the other end of the stick. So, and I like AC/DC, dude. I like knuckle dragger, mouth breathing, big dumb heavy metal just as much as I like, all of the instruments falling down the stairs in time at the speed of light.
There's room for
Watchtower, which is what Watchtower was. So I like big, dumb, heavy, slow, just like I like super fast, crazy, can't understand it. It's so weird, So I started just, singing with them for fun, and there was no gigs because they had lost their singer and I was new and it was kind of uncertain. And the idea was to try to, well, here's what happened is the phone rang and I'd been in the band like a week, just kind of, singing covers. And I think we were putting together some songs that with either their lyrics, the Toys guys' lyrics, and maybe some of mine, because I didn't want to sing her lyrics, right? It makes sense. It was fair, right? So the phone rings and it's like the back room, which was like the watering hole. It was like the club that when they were Onyx, they were like king shit there. They were the house band, like packed it every weekend. And the dude from the club is like calling, "Hey, what's going on? I heard you guys got a singer." It's like, whoa, how that news travels fast. Yeah, it's Jason from Watchtower. I know, I heard all about it. So when can I get you in here? It was like, ready to go. Let's go. What are you going to call this outfit? And it was like, holy shit. And someone said, I'll call it, Bad Boys Make Dangerous Toys. And I was just like, Dangerous Toys, that'll work. That's good. So they hung up the phone and they wrote us in and we started playing gigs. 6 months later, we got a record deal.
Wow.
Like being hit by a bus.
And that was, you guys didn't, from what I remember, you guys didn't cut any demos for that first record, right?
We had not been in the studio. Well, here's the real, I know it's unfair as fuck. Yeah, it's not right.
That's awesome.
It was kind of the state of, when there's a new hot band going on, which wasn't us. It was this band Guns N' Roses, who also had a singer with red hair who sang real high, who had tattoos. So the label started looking for another one of those,
I remember the comparisons back then.
Yeah. What are you going to do? I mean, the fucked up thing is a lot of people that know my history said, I don't hear that. I've been following Jason for years and wouldn't really put that in. If anything, I would have heard the new Guns N' Roses song. Man, that guy's kind of like Jason.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Depends on where you're from. So
right.
Since Guns was already this big deal and people just heard about the toy, it kind of happened backwards, right?
Yeah.
Or no, it didn't. It was like it took us a while for me to be, all of a sudden Axl's, he's the king redheaded singer who sings high with tattoos, and here comes this other guy. Oh, I'm kind of screwed because he got but he's a great singer, and he really helped change rock and roll. So what am I, who's bitching? Not me.
Yeah.
So anyway, so a friend of mine had a cassette. On one side, it was a live performance the Toys did on the radio on KOBJ, the FM rock station in Austin. They had this show called Local Licks Live, and they'd bring in a rig, and they'd hit the soundboard and run a snake out to a truck and mix it, just like King Biscuit Flower Hour, same shit. Westwood One, same kind of shit. And there was someone taped it off the radio, and this famous cassette had the Toys live. I think, Teasin' Pleasin', and Outlaw, I think, were both on there, and maybe like 3 or 4 more songs that only 1 or 2 of them ended up on the record. There was some unreleased shit that never came out. They were on there anyway, and maybe, no, I don't think we did any covers. It was only like 40-minute set or something. And on the other side of this cassette was same singer, different band. It was Watchtower demos from April of 1987. So this would have been like, early March. Oh, dude, this stuff was happening fast. All of these things, these little anecdotes and answers, they're happening like bam. They're happening like firecracker. This friend of mine sent that tape out to an intern at Tapco Entertainment, now known as Union Entertainment, that has managed Rat, Cinderella, everybody, the Nickelback, keep going. They're this, they used to manage Y&T, and it's from Los Angeles area. And so there's an intern, a friend of mine has an intern out there. And my manager, Tim Heine, is not my manager anymore, but I'll say present tense. He was the guy that you see, the mogul type guy, not the cigar, but he's got a desk and there's demos stacked to the ceiling of bands sending managers and labels just shit, all their demos, in hopes to get a deal or, hey, be our manager or whatever. So his daily routine would be to get in his, mid 80s Corvette and grab like 2 or 3 cassette tapes, okay, I'm headed out to the car from my drive home, and he'd get in the car. And he'd put one, he'd pick one, unpeel it, and put it in, and be on the highway. And the first song, if he thought it sucked, he'd eject it and chuck it out the window and hit the 101 Ventura Highway, whatever, the fucking window. And so he gets to ours, and Teasin' Pleasin' comes on, and he picks up his brick, phone that's as big as a library book. It's just phone out to here, the old like it's a car phone, but it's the old style with the curly cord and everything. Hey, how come no one told me who's call these guys right now? And the rest is history.
Wow.
What was sent to them? Was the Watchtower sent to them and they heard the other side?
No, it's one cassette.
Yeah, but you had
one side is Toys live, fucking live. It was a live show, and on the other side was studio tracks from Watchtower from '87. They were current. It was current,
right? But were they meaning for him to hear Watchtower or to hear Dangerous Toys or to hear?
It was. My friend didn't give a shit.
Oh, okay.
Whatever they liked.
I didn't know if it was like an accident where they sent the Watchtower demos.
No, because I was still in both bands.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So has anything ever been done
with that live show? I think I have it. I have it on cassette here somewhere.
Oh wow. That should be put out probably.
How about not?
No.
It just sounds like little kids just having fun. That's what it sounds like.
Well,
I don't know. I mean, I'm biased, right?
I was going to say to you it may, but to fans it may not.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah. Anyway, total fan thing. Not so much for me and the band to hear. Yeah, get off. But anyway, so we had him sort of like, hot for teacher, And then we had South by Southwest music conference coming up in Austin, Texas. And that would have been in March. So, that tape being sent out early that year, 88, January, February, let's say that tape got sent out there. So that demo, that Watchtower demo was not even a year old. And that live show from the Toys was only a couple months old, maybe, if that.
Mm-hmm.
See, where am I? Yeah. So South by Southwest comes. And at this point in 88, it's a brand new, there was only one South by prior to that. And now it's this giant trade show. And back then, it lasts like a month, 3 weeks or something. And back then it was like a 3-day weekend, and it was all music, and it was all unsigned artists. And we were a hotbed in the 80s here, Stevie Ray Vaughan, all that shit, right? So, the Fabulous Thunderbirds, ain't that tough enough, wrap it up, all that kind of shit was a hotbed for R&B and bluesy rock, and you remember Omar and the Howlers?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She, my border girl, all from right here. And all. Anyway, so that shit was hot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we played South by Southwest reluctantly because it was on a Sunday night. There was only like 15 people in the club because it was a Sunday night into that little festival. And I think that, it was a good thing that we did it, because it's really kind of where, and I'm saying metaphorically, that's where the money came in. Like literally and metaphorically, but let's talk metaphorically, because that's where it went shabam, because this lady named Celine Armbeck saw our set and was like, came up to me and said, "Oh my God, that was killer. My name's Celine. I'm from Los Angeles. I work for a publishing company called SBK Songs." And I said, "Man, that's amazing. And I'm glad that you liked it, but I'm not even in this band. I'm in a thrash band called Watchtower. But you can go talk to those guys." I dicked her. I was like, I shouldn't have been rude, but I feel like I could have been a lot nicer about it and just heard her out. Mm-hmm. I didn't. I totally shined her and was kind of asshole-ish. And so she went and talked to the guys. And those guys called me the next day, and they were like, "Man, you remember that lady that came? She was legit." And so to put that together, Tim Heine in Los Angeles, and she's from Los Angeles, and she didn't know Tim Heine. And she was there, guess who to see? She had gone to the first South by Southwest and seen, anybody?
Watchtower.
Onyx.
Oh, no shit.
She's watching Onyx downtown. Across the river was the back room where the Toys were playing. Mm-hmm. And she's sitting there in this club, and she's going, "This is not the same Onyx I saw last year. What's going on? These guys are different." She's the same, of course. She's like her band, but this is not the same band. And someone like noted, she starts asking locals that are nearby walking by, and they're like, and Bobby McNeely is this guy who worked at the back room. He was one of the managers or something. And she just happened to tap him on the shoulder. "Hey, she used to have a different band?" "Oh yeah, they're called Dangerous Toys. They're playing right now across the river." And she was like, "Take me over there right now." So that's how that happened.
Wow.
So we hooked up Celine with Tim, and kind of the rest is history. We showcased for 7 major labels in our hometown. Slept in our own beds every night, no sweat. Got wined and dined.
That's awesome.
No doubt.
The overnight sensation. So not even 2 years later, I'm in the restroom in the stall, or just right there at the urinal, and Lars Ulrich is right next to me, who I had met in '83 and was pen pals with James and called the house all the time. And he's like, "Hey, dude, what's up?" "Oh, hey, dude, what's up?" He goes, "What are you doing, man?" I said, "Oh, just working, man, making videos and fucking this crazy dangerous toys thing. He goes, wow, man, that's crazy. He goes, dude, it happened too fast. And I think that he's right.
Yeah.
Kind of like because the iron was hot because of the Pussycats and the LA Guns and the Guns N' Roses and all this stuff. And I was standing there and literally, we got hit. The toys got hit like a crossing the street. And we took it and we ran with it. And I'm glad we did. No regrets. Had a great time. Helped make a lot of people happy during that time, that class of 89. A lot of kick-ass rock and roll came out. A lot of kick-ass heavy metal came out. Yeah. Things that happened to Metallica, the things that happened to a lot of people, man, it was happening fast,
Mm-hmm.
Just when you talk about 80s, it's like metal and hard rock was like rampantly just growing and growing and growing, and MTV was like this, it was just this crazy explosion. And then the 90s came and it was time to change the guard, and I get that. I understand that. And then, thank God, because Pantera blew up, thank God all these things happened for a reason, and all this kick-ass music started happening, and it was different and it was changing, and you got to move over for the other guy. It's just how it goes. It's hard to be consistent unless you have something that's a little bit more appropriate.
Well, that era when you guys come in,
we were sort of inappropriate enough to be cool, but not appropriate enough to withstand what we needed to do. Like Lars said, a band like Metallica, they slowly rose to power, so to speak.
Yeah.
He's kind of right. Yeah, I totally get it. And it's a real thing. And it was an overnight sensation. That rings true with me as far as the toys go. But
that late 80s, like you're saying, that era and that class where it was you guys and, like you said, LA Guns, Guns N' Roses, even that Cult Electric album, that whole era was like a breath of fresh air after. I love all the stuff before the Dokken and all the MTV metal. But man, when bands like you guys brought the rock back, the sleaze back a little bit, you know what I mean? It felt more gutter rock. It was really, that was a great time right there.
Yeah. I think that between, myself included, the toys, Circus of Power, Rhino Bucket, Bang Tango, it wasn't all from LA. Circus of Power is New York. Half of Junkyard is from Texas. I had art class with David Roach. Chris Gates, the founding member of Junkyard, used to set up shows for Watchtower. Wow. He put us on the bill with Slayer, LA Slayer. Not, he set up.
Right.
It was incredible things were happening to these people that I had known already, that I grew up kind of with, and that people I had met because I was a headbanger.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
During the time, 82, 83, 84, 85, and then not even just a couple years later, boom, here I am, and I'm standing next to Lars in a fucking urinal.
Yeah.
You get the idea, what I mean?
Right.
I always thought the Dangerous Toys had a bigger underground cult following than most of the hair bands did at that time. I don't know why.
A lot of people don't like to put us with the hair bands, and I love those people because we're dirtier.
Yeah, dude, that's why I always like more bands like Toys, Junkyard, Rhino Bucket, that kind of thing.
They got that
power
to them.
Yeah, there was something going on.
Circus of Power is one of the most underrated bands. I fucking love that band, man.
Yeah, I love Call of the Wild and the Vices record are like it's pretty nonstop, sleazy, dirty pop rock from New York.
John mentioned Rock City Angels. Hell yeah, man. That was an awesome first album.
Yep.
So you're in Texas, that era, you probably cross paths with all the 80s Texas. You already mentioned Hellstar. I'm sure you cross paths with Pantera early on.
Yeah, I turned down an audition before Philip.
Wow. Really?
They had Terry Glaze, and who went on to be in Lord Tracy. And in between Tracy and Philip, I'm sorry, Terry and Philip, they were calling all the, the dudes that they wanted. I'm sure they were calling multiple people in New Orleans and all around Texas. But I had a buzz going from the Watchtower shit, and I had friends that Watchtower used to play shows with all the time. Watchtower never played with Pantera because it was a different kind of music. It's kind of funny that I was doing the heavy thrash weird shit, and Pantera was kind of like a Def Leppard meets Poison kind of thing.
Right.
And then we sort of changed places. You know what I mean? It was like stylistically kind of went sheer. But Jerry Abbott, their dad, called me and asked me if I wanted to just jam with them and try it out. And I had just replaced. It was '86, and I had just replaced early '87 rather. I had just replaced the guitar player in Watchtower. Billy White had left end of '86, and it would have been late '86 that the Abbotts called me. Anyway, about 2 weeks later, Vinny called me. You sure? You sure you don't want to come check it out, man? I think you'd have a lot of fun. And I'm like, man, I bet I would. I don't remember either of them going, our shit's heavy as fuck now. I don't remember that, but I don't know if that would have sold it to me. And if I would have gotten the gig, the world would not have what we have right now. Or it would have taken longer for us to have the Pantera that changed the fucking world.
It's crazy little things like that when you think about it. It's like,
dude, and you think about this: if Lars and James had not booted Dave Mustaine,
no Megadeth,
all of this other shit wouldn't have happened, dudes.
Yeah.
You realize that, right?
Yeah.
This is like, it's like you can't change the way people are going to treat each other that would ultimately or could and did start a whole new tidal wave for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's like I always think of, not so much metal, but Mother Love Bone with Andrew Wood. If he hadn't OD'd and died, no
Who knows? Yeah, see, it's such a crazy.
No Temple of the Dog.
Yeah.
I actually like the Temple of the Dog record more than anything that came out of Seattle after that.
Yeah, it's a great record.
But I understand that it's a super group.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't at the beginning when it first came out. The only person I think that it was somewhat recognizable was just Cornell, wasn't it?
Yeah, actually, it kind of turns into a super group afterwards.
Yeah, right. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Well, it had Vetter on it. It had Pearl Jam dudes on it.
Yeah, but Vetter was unknown.
That was before.
Yeah,
that was before the Pearl Jam record dropped. Like a good 6 months before, I think. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. But
no, I don't think so. That came out after the first Pearl Jam record.
Temple of the Dog?
Yes, sir.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I was thinking it was before also. I'd have to look. You might.
Yeah, you guys may be right, and I owe you a Coke. But I'll tell you. I'll tell you. I think it was Pearl Jam blows up. They had been working on songs in tribute to Andy. And it came out, and trust me, the Pearl Jam record helped sell that Temple of the Dog record, and not to mention Loud Love and everything that Soundgarden was already starting to go to, So
we got Vance in here. He knows. He is the Pearl Jam master.
Oh yeah, where is Vance?
He just said they were recorded around the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, recorded around the same time. Came after. I don't know which came after.
Chicken or the egg.
Yeah, that Temple of the Dog record was not available until after the first Pearl Jam was available.
Wow.
Yeah. But anyway, all of these things we wouldn't have the awesomeness that we have right now if the sacrifices, the people not getting along, the strive and the struggle and the will to feel like, well, you're not going to work in our band anymore, so we're going to boot you. Okay, well, then he goes and forms Megadeth, and oh my God, see, it's like a whole. It's like you go over there and be the king of that galaxy. Oh shit, you've done great for yourself. See what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's pretty unbelievable when you think about how a planet can explode and become all of these awesome other planets.
Yeah. It's the butterfly effect, basically. One little
Yes.
thing.
Yes. And so when you think like that, it's okay. It's not okay if you get your butt hurt and you feel like you have to buy a whole new wardrobe to make yourself feel wanted and loved. And that's what a lot of headbangers thought that they had to do when they realized they liked all of the new music from Seattle. They felt like they had to change their wardrobe. It's like, no, hold on a second. Don't cut your hair. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. Like in the 90s, throughout the 90s, the Toys, I mean, we made, a record that was heavier and weirder where I didn't say baby, baby and grab my crotch and shit. We did that like everybody else. But I'm telling you, for the most of the 90s, we continued to play dirty, sleazy rock and roll.
Dude, I got the Pissed record is my favorite Dangerous Toys record.
That should have been our second record, I think. It
that's such a great record. I mean, I love the second album too. When you guys did the second album, did you feel rushed to do it?
A little bit.
It seemed like it was the tail end of like that Operation Rock and Roll tour and through that winter. And then all of a sudden it seemed like reading in, because we didn't have internet yet. So reading in the Metal Edge and everything that you guys are working on a record, it was like, oh, cool. And then it was like, I swear, it felt like 2 months later, there's an ad for it.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, they really recorded that fast.
You're spot on with that because we were out with the Cult. We started New Year's Eve, 89. The record was selling really good. We had been on the road since like June of 89. And
I know, because you guys were in Philly. I swear to God, you guys were in Philly 4 times that year. And I was at all 4 of them.
Yeah, we were in New York. We just kept going like this across the states.
But it's crazy how many times you guys were here in a matter of like 6 months.
I'll never forget. We played Denver, Colorado like 7 times.
Jesus.
On one tour because it's right there. You pass it up. Oh, well, it's too close. We just played up and down the West Coast. Well, what are we going to do? Oh, we play Denver again.
Well, I know DT was they were the reason why we went to the LA Gun show. Like my buddy Mark and I were like, oh, Dangerous Toys is playing. We'll go see them. Was it Accept? No, wait. Dangerous Toys Tour?
Yep. Tour.
Because then and LA Guns, I thought they put on a really good. That's what got me into actually that LA Guns, the second album, because I hadn't really paid much attention. Yeah, I hadn't paid attention to it.
First 2 records are my favorite. I'm that guy, It's like I worship Kiss up to a certain era, and then I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
Van Halen, oh, what happened? So doesn't mean that they didn't write great music after that, but it was be like 50% of the music on the new Kiss album in 1990 or 87 or whatever. I'm going, that's like 2 songs on there I like, and I started. There's a certain way I like my Kiss and my Van Halen, I guess, and my the thing is I'll listen to any AC/DC song.
Yep.
Because they're really trying to just make sure that this round peg goes in this round hole every record.
Yep.
Every record. And I love that and I respect that. And it's like an institution like the Ramones,
Motorhead, and AC/DC
that have this thing for 50 years. It's hard to be good for 50 years, but there's a lot of people doing it. Rolling Stones, same thing.
Yeah.
A lot of it, man. There's a lot of that kind of a thing. You don't need to be the Beatles and have a new style and a new wardrobe every time you make a record. And I'm not even dissing the Beatles. It's like they're like the Jesus of rock. Oh, what kind of rock are we gonna do this week, mate? New shit, and it's the new tastemaker.
Well, there's very few bands for me personally that I would like from beginning to end. I mean, there's always something in there, but AC/DC, like you said, beginning to end, they're AC/DC. But very few
you know what
bands
you're gonna get. Yeah, there's some. It's like comfort food.
Yeah, I mean, like even the heart, Metallica, of course, changed. Slayer, of course, has changed. All that stuff,
Yeah. But there's a lot of Metallica I like and a lot of Slayer that I like.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Anthrax. Pretty much the big four, when it starts to get spotty in the later portions of all four of those bands' career, I'm still there.
Yeah.
I'm looking for things. I'll take some of that. I'll take that. I don't have to eat it all.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. True.
So, yeah.
But how long did it take for you guys to record that second album?
Well, we were in. I think we ended our leg with the Cult in Atlanta, in spring break of '90.
Yeah.
And we started writing immediately. And we had a couple songs. Give Me No Lip, we wrote it. We already had it already. We wrote Angel in You at sound checks while on the Cult tour. Because it was just that Angel in You is a jam.
Yeah.
Man, it's just it's just a naughty walk.
Right.
And so that was, we were a well-oiled machine. It wasn't hard for us to write good songs, but sometimes it takes a while for them to cook. And I feel like about half the record on Hellacious Acres was not quite ready. It was still in the crock pot. And they made us make a record and put it out. Because it came out in '91. Maybe a year later, after we finished the first tour, came out June of '89. The first record came out, of '91. The first record came out May 9th of '89. We toured into '90, started writing, spring and summer of '90. And by summer '91, boom. And you probably saw an ad for it in fucking February.
Probably. Yeah. It seemed like it was pretty quick, Yeah,
it was interesting hearing someone from the label go, your window of opportunity is closing. And I'm like, I got questions for you. Is the record selling? Oh, yeah, like hotcakes. Are we outselling the other, supporting band, Bonham on the Cult tour? Are we outselling their merch? Oh yeah, that clown kicks ass. It's just selling like hot. What are we doing again? Why are you gonna pull this off the road? Anyway, I thought it was a little bit weird, but
so they did pull. So they essentially pulled you off the road to make the second album.
Yeah, they asked us. The Cult wanted us to come back because they were going to take a week off. They wanted us to come back, and
that was a great show.
Told the management, I said, "Can we just ask for a little bit more money, and at least finish this leg? Do this leg with them, finish out their tour, which would only have been another month."
Right.
Think about it, right?
Yeah.
They were ending Sonic Temple. They had been doing the Sonic Temple tour since
Metallica, opening for Metallica. Yeah. Right.
Since, we started with them New Year's Eve. So months prior to that, they were supporting Metallica, Sonic Temple. So, and they had a hot record. So, and so did Metallica. That was, I bet, like an interesting mix of fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
anyway,
Guns N' Roses. Remember that tour?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that record came out seemingly fast. It was written and recorded within that year.
That's I still think it's a great record.
I'm glad that you like it. It's not the band's favorite moment. Like I said, there's like 5 songs on there. I can probably count them, on one hand. Yeah, I have 5 fingers here. So
yeah.
Give Me No Lip, Best of Friends, Line 'Em Up, Sugar Leather Nail, and Angel in You.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all. I mean, they're classic Dangerous Toys tracks.
Those are good songs. When you think about the other 5 or 6, one's a cover. Just take that off.
I love Gypsy.
Bad Guy, Gypsy, Black and Blue Valentine.
Gunfighter.
Gunfighter is a good one.
Yeah,
that's another good one.
Yeah.
That was written kind of last minute at a rehearsal in LA before we went to the studio.
Wow.
Yeah. Kind of an unfinished moment that we tightened up and put on the record. Opening track.
Yeah.
And there's I think there's one more on there.
Yeah, you got Feel Like Making Love.
I got 100 copies over here if anybody needs one.
Hey guys, I'll be right back.
Go ahead, man.
You think you know you're getting old when you can't remember your own shit. Sticks and Stones.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
On Top. Remember that one?
She likes it on top.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Gunfire, Give Me No Lip, Sticks and Stones, Best of Friends, On Top, Sugar, Leather, and the Nail. So it's kind of like
dude, that's a great record, man. Now that you're reading off the song titles again, it's like that's a good record. Like I said, my favorite was Pissed. Now I don't know.
5 of these songs are still in our set list.
Yeah,
that means something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that Piss record is good. It's unfortunate that only a couple of the tunes make our set list on that, because I do feel like since we are kind of working for the machine, a lot of, Hellacious is a more popular record, and we're trying to, I feel like we're pleasing more fans. You get the hardcore out there is yelling Demon Bell, which was on the Shocker soundtrack, or a deep cut like On Top or something. It's rare, but it happens. Yeah. And then, people ask us, how come you never play Demon Bell? It's like, because you're the only one standing there knowing the words. You know the words better than I do. You get closer, I'm going to hand you the mic.
Now, my wife and I came to see you in, I think it was 93 in Delaware. We drove 2.5 hours.
Wow.
It was when Kevin.
Kevin Fowler. Yeah.
Kevin was in the band. It was like Bonnie's, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you and I
sat,
you, I, and Kevin were at the bar for a good hour before the show.
Yeah.
Hanging out. Yeah. And when I saw that show, you guys had played Piss that night.
That's right.
I think there was another track that I think ended up on Kevin's record called
Runaway Train.
Runaway Train, yes.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome, man.
Yeah. So you are one of the lucky ding, 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 ding. We have a special announcement.
Well, I wouldn't have known if you hadn't called. You called and left a message on my machine like a day before, and I said to my wife, we're going to Delaware tomorrow night.
Yeah. I miss those days where the band was just really close to the fan. Now you just reach out and press a button and look, we're right here.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is the new norm.
Right.
This is how it's going to be for a long time. You guys realize that?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm embracing it. I am not going to hate this shit anymore, because this is not my thing at all.
Right.
It is now.
Right.
It is now. So
the whole internet thing in itself, it's like it seems it's been good for music and it's been bad for music, I think.
Oh yeah.
I agree 100%, but this is how we have to do it now. This is how it's done. We don't get to pick the format of how it's going to be now.
Yeah.
But because of our situation that is a global pandemic, this is the safer bet.
Now, on that topic, are you guys able to play out at all right now? Or
I haven't played a show since March, I think.
Wow.
Pretty much since it started, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Toys played in February, and then I did a gig with some other dudes in March. And then I just decided it's too dangerous. So I'm going to just, I don't need to be the hero and look, we're playing a gig and I don't care about the, No, but it's like, I don't want anyone to be able to trace it back to a show that I said yes to.
Right.
Because I don't, it wouldn't be my fault, but I would have contributed.
Right.
In some way,
Yeah.
So there's that. So I'm I'm just kind of waiting, but I've been busy as shit.
I know you're doing you did the Ellison record that just came out.
Yeah.
You did some tracks on that, right? Riff Raff and
you guys have this yet?
Dude, we my store, I manage a record store here. We've been trying to get it the last 2 weeks and our distributor's been out of it.
Well,
yeah, it looks
it's
killer.
Pretty rad.
I know, it looks awesome. I can't wait to get it.
It's super fun. There's some weird versions of some weird songs on there, and it's really fun.
Cool.
And I was just fucking standing in the right place at the right time. Tom Hazar, who's David Ellison's lead singer and partner with EMP Label Group, I've known him for years, and he put out the last Igniter record. Because Igniter has a brand new record out right now on Metal, an Italian label. But the record prior, Haunted by Rock and Roll, the Igniter record, they put that out. They put out the last Broken Teeth record called Four on the Floor. And they put out the Evil United, which I don't know if you guys know what Evil United is. Yeah, that's a badass record. Hold on, my turn. Talk amongst yourselves.
All right, go ahead.
I had to go, man. I couldn't hold it any longer.
That's it. He's got his own man cave. Check it out,
that, man. That's killer. So you went through all the Dangerous Toys years, pretty much.
Up through Pissed, yeah. But I wanted to ask him about a couple of the Pissed things, and then the artist formerly known as, why it took such a different turn on that record.
And strange album title.
Well, they played it off the Prince for sure.
Right. But
still, I love the clown on the front is Prince.
All right. So you got so Broken Teeth was after Dangerous Toys, basically.
Yeah.
I think that was the late 90s.
That's when I was working with Paris then. So I knew like Tom and Jason, I believe, were putting together the Broken Teeth stuff back then, but we'll find out for sure.
Okay, so
right on.
Evil United has 3 records out, and it's these guys from San Antonio.
Let me make this bigger.
Evil United, yeah.
Oh, cool.
And if you look at the logo, Evil United.
It's like the Angel logo.
Correct.
That's cool.
And this one is the second record. The first one's just self-titled. This is called Honored by Fire. There's some videos on YouTube you can check out. There's a video for Viking Funeral. There's a cool live video out of Dallas called Ripping Flesh. We did a promo video for Dead Can See. That's all off of this record. This is the third record that's on EMP Label Group. That's on Combat record.
Oh yeah, because he started Combat again, huh?
Yeah. And this is still sealed. This one's actually for sale. It's part of my stock. I don't want to open, but the vinyl in this is beautiful. It's like this swirly turquoise blue white marble translucent, hypnotizing. And this is a gatefold as well. This opens and there's a huge cool photo of a library of all kinds of, there's snakes and skull. It's Heavy Metal Nightmare.
Nice. What style? Are they more thrashy?
It's the history of that band is deep. Dave McClain, who's the drummer for Sacred Reich, who's also on No Cover, plays on Free Will Burning and Tear It Loose. And Dave McClain is in Sacred Reich and was in Machine Head for 23 years.
Wow.
He's from San Antonio, Texas. And these guys in Evil United are from San Antonio, Texas. And they are, which is like an hour from my house. They had a band called, not Dave McClain, but these other dudes that Dave knows, and called Pitbull Daycare, and they were like in the '90s. They were like a industrial metal kind of ministry style of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they did it for years and years, and then they lost their singer, and they called me, and they go, you want to sing on some of these Pitbull riffs, and we'll just rename the band. And I was like, hell yeah! So Evil United was born. The name of the band Dave McClain came up with, which is kind of cool. And the bass player, which is Don Van Staveren, this guy right here, he's in Riot.
Oh, okay.
Riot, he's in Riot. So he played on the first record and then this one, and then we had to replace him on the third record.
Oh, okay.
But he got real bit. He rock star, 9 Lives rock star. He's killing it with Riot right now. And this came out on EMP as well. We did the vinyl ourselves. This is like a swirly blood splattered vinyl that's beautiful, and that cover is amazing. It's like the evil ritual playing the devil's music, haunted by rock and roll. There's a cover of Ravens Hung, Drawn, and Quartered on this record.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Which you can't get on the CD. You can only get it on the vinyl. And there's a poster in here. Anyway, this stuff is all available. I've been busy.
Yeah,
man. This is the second record by Howling Sycamore. Do you guys know Howling Sycamore?
No.
Is that you?
I'm on this. There's the hype sticker, and you can read the hype sticker.
Wow.
Right on.
Marty Friedman plays a guitar solo on the ballad on this record.
Damn.
It's out of control. This music will hurt your brain. It's beautiful and scary as fuck all at the same time.
So you are busy, dude.
Yeah. And we're I just talked to David. The story of Howling Sycamore came about 2016. David Tiso is his name. He's an Italian guitar player who's in like a kind of a death metal band from Italy called Ifal Duath. And I don't know anything on it. I'm just being straight. I don't know anything about Ifal Duath, but I do know this, that I have show and tell all over the place. This is the festival that I reunited with Watchtower for in 2004. And we headlined it. This was in Amsterdam.
Mm-hmm.
You see the date, April 3-4, 2004. We headlined it, co-headlined with Sieges Even, and there's USA bands on there, German bands. If you look at Ifal Duath, there's an Italian band called Ifal Duath. This guy, the mastermind of Howling Sycamore, and I shared a stage together back then. I didn't even know it. Now I'm in a project with him, and this is our second record, but about 2016, maybe early 2017, he emails me out of the blue. I don't know who this guy. I'm David, and I'm got a band, and I'm looking for. I would love for you to sing on my record, and da da da. And I was like, well, I get these offers often. I don't look them in the mouth. I don't expect them, and when they do, I'm completely flattered. So, I've learned the hard way not to say yes to everything, but I want to,
right?
Because I love rock and roll. So, I'm like, well, I'll have to hear the material before I say yes. And I pressed play on that motherfucker, and I was like, send it all. And
so, what style would you say that is?
Well, I'm just going to read the sticker here. An extreme metal project that traverses all aspects of progressive music. a moving experience simply for each and every artist's contribution melding together into cohesive chaos. These are reviews from Metal Injection, it's a magazine. But that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Description of the whole thing.
All right, so
the drumming is otherworldly. Hans Grossman, who's I think he was in he's a death metal drummer. He's Hate Eternal. He was in Floridian Metal, but he's from Germany and he gets hired to play with everybody.
Dude, I'm so impressed. I had no idea you had your hands in this much stuff.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's awesome.
We've only begun to talk about it. Anyway, so
where did you guys with
the funny thing is about, and I'll finish with this and then we'll be done with Howling Sycamore, but here it is. That was in 2016, 2017. We've got 2 records under our belt. I've never met David.
Really? Everything online?
Yeah, I record all my vocals right here where I'm sitting right now.
Wow.
Yeah, well, more like right there, but
Nah, that's cool,
right,
man.
Right there, the end of where my arm stops. Yeah. But that's the normal thing. That's normal now too.
Yeah.
Everyone's cutting tracks at home and emailing them to the engineer.
Now we're kind of on this. George knows this is a little hot button with me. Which do you prefer? Do you enjoy doing? I know it's easier doing the digital way like this, but would you prefer to go into a nice studio with the old analog way? I prefer the older recordings over the new. I'm not a big digital guy, so
I think it would be a lot of fun to go in and record some of the that Evil United Serpent record was really a bitch. I had to record the vocals like it was cursed. I recorded the vocals like 3 times. And I went, they recorded the music for about half the record, at least 2 times. I was, just to put it in a nutshell, I was losing my parents. They weren't doing well. And, the end was near kind of thing. And as well, the first Howling Sycamore, I was losing my mother, and then the second Howling Sycamore, I was losing my father. And during that second Howling Sycamore, no, it was the other way around. I'm sorry, it was the other way around. It was all happened seemingly so fast. The Evil United Serpent record, it was really a pain in my ass because I was occupied. My mind was elsewhere. I was taking care of family and stuff, right? So, when I would hear mixes come back, I was just like, and this would be after I went down to a nice studio and cut tracks in a nice studio. Whether it was analog or not, we can talk, Right. It wasn't analog, it was digital, but I was in a nice studio. Mm-hmm. The tracks were terrible. And they were saying, "Oh, you sound awesome on here." And I'm like hearing it, I'm going, yeah, why is it just me that doesn't hear all this pitchy shit and the tone? I sound like an old man. It's not fresh. It's not powerful for the kind of music it is, because it's like classic new-ish metal. Everything's tuned to C, so it's it's fucking heavy as fuck,
right?
But it's trash, and it's like angry Judas Priest, and right. It's also got all of this other stuff to it as well. It's, you guys got to check it out. I'm terrible at describing my own stuff. And anyway, I recut the vocals here, and I'm a lot happier with it when I can do it on my own. Maybe I'm a control freak, But when I was hearing back the mixes for that, and they wanted me to, give a thumbs up or a thumbs down, it was like, I'm not even going to listen to all of it. I'm already, listening to the first song going like this because I don't like what I hear of me.
Mm-hmm.
The record sounds brutal. It's fucking amazing. But my performance is shit. They disagreed. And so, I think that kind of sealed the deal that I need to produce my own vocals. If I send something in and they really like it, but they need me to do it again, I'm not so butthurt. Usually they want me to do it again because my mic was too hot. And they can't EQ out the sizzle. Digital distorts too easy, and analog you want to hit it in the red, and because that's when it starts to sound really good. You're hitting tape, and the meters get in the red. That's when everything starts to grind a little bit, and it sounds awesome and warm and fat.
Yeah,
digital doesn't work that way. You have to have low input so they can put whatever fuzz they can on it later. It's quite a different. You got to hit your input has to be a little lighter. So
there you go, Greeno.
That's usually what that is. But I love analog, and I would do analog if I thought it would be cost effective, but it ain't.
Yeah, I know. It's just
I know.
It seems like back in the day there was an art to it, and a little bit of that art I think is kind of gone with the computer route. I understand it makes stuff so much easier, and the stuff
you have to have money. You have to have money to do it.
Yeah,
right. And you would never be able to do what you're doing now, probably. You know what I mean? Which is, great. It opens all that up. But I miss.
I know some old school guys who don't download anything. The only digital thing they own is a phone, and they record everything on tape. And their whole house is dedicated to recording on tape and jamming and writing songs. And there's a lot of people like that in the world. It's kind of like, it makes you think of like the Grateful Dead or something, that they have their own like world, and it's all about recording and writing and creating and art and having this group of people who live together, who create together and have this way of doing it that's consistent, that sounds the same all the time, and it's on tape. It makes me wonder, do you think the new, the new AC/DC is on tape? You think it's analog?
I think it's analog, but I haven't really paid it. I just think it sounds, I don't know. That's a good question.
Well, a lot of people are recording. It's a good question. A lot of people are recording digital, and then there's all these plugins that they put on it to make it sound like it's analog.
Right.
I mean, knowing the way they record,
it's ridiculous.
They record so fast with Brendan O'Brien that I would imagine it's probably mostly digital at this point.
Or
it
could be a thing where they're recording parts of it on tape and parts of it on just in Pro Tools.
Yeah.
And then they dump it from the tape to Pro Tools, and then maybe, because I've done this with records, record digital, dump it to analog, and master it off of the analog.
Wow.
Got you.
And let it hit a digital format for your copies.
Is that what you guys did with the remaster for Pissed?
No.
Because that thing sounds like totally different from the original.
They just ran it through some maximizers and fattened it up. They just had a guy do it. Yeah, EMP did it. They had a guy do it.
Yeah.
Thank God they did. I mean, it sounded good before. It was just a little rattly.
That's monster sounding now.
Yeah, it's big. It's bigger and fatter. Yeah.
Well, here's us, Jason, from 28 years ago.
Awesome.
That's cool, dude.
Whoa, I wish I still had that shirt.
That was us at Bonnie's that night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm so glad that you're a hoarder.
I think we all might have a little of that going on.
Oh yeah, I mean, I could reach. Here's I got shit like this. You remember them dudes?
Oh yeah.
That's autographed.
That's
probably
awesome.
Probably got that sign on Violence and Force tour.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, man.
All day long. Here's me hanging out with Trouble.
Oh shit.
That's me and Danny Aaron from the Toys hanging out with Trouble.
Holy shit, man.
Here I am on my 18th birthday hanging out with Saxon.
I saw that picture on Facebook.
Yeah, that's Mike Solis. Look, he's wearing the same Motorhead shirt that he was wearing when I met him. That's fucked up.
Dude, you have no idea how cool it is to see you're not just a musician guy. You're in it, man. You like this stuff. This is awesome.
Lifer.
Yeah.
So cool.
Stupid as hell, just like you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what now the fourth Toys record was the one that you guys changed the sound quite a bit on. What was what was your, as a band collectively, what was the idea, like why you went that route?
My knee-jerk response was we didn't have anything to lose.
Gotcha.
By making a record that that everyone else from our class of '89 was making. Distorted vocals, a little heavier, but we also had some softer moments on that record too.
I love that record, man.
We had softer tunes and we had heavier tunes, and we had some songs that I felt were geared toward like what was popular on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
That might have been considered like Dangerous Toys alternative music,
right?
Question mark, and it was a confusing record for fans that I always preached to, which made me sound like a hypocrite. Don't change your wardrobe, be who you are all the time, don't cut your hair. I mean, and I cut my hair, but I didn't cut my hair because of the music I was going to play. I cut my hair because I look like a balding old man, and now I just don't care. Now I am a balding old man. And there was a lot of sort of like trend following,
right?
Trend setting, which when you think about, if you say Smashing Pumpkins, well, Guns N' Roses is big, so all these other bands get a record deal, and the Toys were one of them.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back and go, well, Nirvana is big, so all these other bands like Smashing Pumpkins get a record deal. See how that works?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a whole lot of stuff like the Nickelbacks and the Chevelles and the Third Day's Grace or whatever, and the Three Doors Down, and then band names that were fucking sentences.
Right.
And we were just following some trends. I
love the record.
Me too. I have to raise my hand and go, it was very liberating for a cock rock band, a hard rock band, to stretch out. And especially me, because I almost feel like maybe in the back of my head, okay, I'm not going to say Shubit Imamina or Baby Baby or Grab My Crotch. I'm just going to sing rock and roll songs. And they're going to be about subject matter that are not just sleazy rock.
Right.
And they were. And I did. It was about being angry. It was about it being emotional. It was about change. It was about people. It was I talk about this all the time in almost every Broken Teeth song about, the kid wearing black who has long hair or no hair, or a mohawk, or both his ears pierced, who looks weird, like the goth kid at school. All the jocks are messing with the goth kid or the headbangers or the freaks or whatever. And it's like, why? Because where they live, they don't let them dress like they want to dress.
Right.
Where they live, they don't have any freedom at all. It's kind of like it freaks me out. It scares me that maybe their guardians, because they don't sound like parents to me, they sound like too military. Their guardians say, damn right you're going to try out for the football team. Even if I have to pay the coach to let you play, you're going to be a quarterback. You're not going to be sitting on the bench. My son, da 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 da. It's like, yes, you are going to join the army, and God damn it, you're going to be the fucking general. You're not going to be, it was like, I didn't grow up in a household like that. So I don't know. So I feel like, and I'm talking about shit that's in high school. Or am I? No, dude, this is real. This is the way people treat people all the time. There's these classes, and I write about it. So I don't like it. So I write about it, and it makes me feel better. And I'm always for the underdog and the little guy. I want the little kid to be the biggest rock star in the world. I want the kid with nothing to be the king. And that's just how it's always been for me. I'm not talking about me when I'm talking about this. Well, I kind of am, right? But the message is not necessarily for me. It's for the people. It's for the underdog.
Right. That's
so cool. a lot of those kind of lyrics on that record. And it was the first time that I really got to do that. And it's weird that it was the styles that we were dabbling in that I think came out, and you seem to agree that came out really well.
Yeah, it was. For as different as it was compared to the first three, I remember hearing "Cure the Sane," thinking, "Oh man, this should be on the radio today. Why isn't this on the radio?" You know what I mean?
That's that song about "Don't make fun of me because I have long hair," or "Don't make fun of me because I cut my hair." Why do you need me so much in your life? Why do you need to have chaos in your life, and you made me the chaos? Why do you think I'm crazy, when you're the crazy one, because you don't have the liberation that I have I'm happy being the way that I am. And if you are, why do you got to pull me down with it? Right. So that's what Cure the Sane was about. It's like, cure the sane. It's like, don't cure the sane. They're the one who's crazy. Cure the sane by making them crazy. If you think I'm crazy, So it's kind of a good entendre there, a good play. And I love Transmission.
Yes.
That's a beautiful song. That's a big heartbreak of a song. Like, this place sucks. It's not a suicide song. It's basically, well, how do I get some tickets to get on that alien spacecraft? Because this sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, let's hope there's, if there's you got any war on your planet? You got any prejudice on your planet? You got any, no, none of those things? And it's just a beautiful, happy place. Yeah. Take me with you. That's what.
Sign me up.
Yeah. Yep. A little bit of Fantasia there, fantastical moment, fantastical thinking, big, but thinking big.
Yeah.
Trying to see lights at the end of the tunnel, like literally or metaphorically.
What year did that album come out?
95.
5-ish. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And we played through most of that fall on a tour.
And you were playing bass then.
Correct. I played bass on that record.
What I thought. Yeah.
92, Danny Aaron left. You saw us in 93 with Kevin Fowler.
Kevin, yeah.
We got Paul Lydell from Dirty Looks in January 1 of 94. He knocked on my door.
Wow.
Yeah, that rhymes. And then 3 months after that, we were in LA recording Pissed with Paul.
What happened with Kevin?
When Danny Aaron split in 92, we wanted Paul.
Oh, okay.
But he had obligations. He was on the 5 Easy Pieces tour.
Yep.
Great fucking Dirty Looks record.
That's an amazing album.
Yeah, that's a great record.
Yeah.
And that's what we wanted. That's who we had to have him in Dangerous Toys. We already knew he would do it because he had mentioned it before. Hey, have you ever run into any? I would love to be in your band. he was a fan, and we were fans of Dirty Looks. We loved Dirty Looks.
Oh yeah.
And he couldn't do it just then, so we had like a whole almost a year to where what do we do for a year? So we just auditioned local dudes. There was a couple of LA dudes came out, and we just went with Kevin. He just made the most sense. We already knew him.
I mean, I thought when you guys played that night, you guys were really tight with him. And like I said, the song, they were all new to me at the time because the Pissed album wasn't out yet. But I was like, holy shit, man, this next record's going to be killer.
Well, we were really trying to stay with Columbia. And in 93, we were not on Columbia. And we had it was literally like the rest of 91 and like all of 92. That's a long time, like 18 months or whatever, to be writing like, I don't know, 80 fucking songs or something stupid like that and sending them. And this is like before digital. We're recording on cassette 8-track, Porta Studio shit in the jam room, and we're mixing them down and sending them out about 4 or 5 songs at a time to our management, and they're making copies and overnighting them to the label in New York, and probably copies to multiple offices. And then they have a conference call. What about the new toys? Nope, keep writing. Next couple of weeks. No. Nope, keep writing. This happened. Oh no, right. Over and over.
So they kept you on the hook for, like you said, 18 months?
Seemed like it. That's what I recall. And then eventually we were just like, hey, Tim Heine, you think you could tell them to fuck off?
What's going on? Like, yeah, that sucked, man.
Can we just be let go? I don't care, drop whatever word you want to use, but can we be Gandhi? Can we just split? And they did. They're like, yeah,
Now, all the music that you sent them in the meantime, do they get to keep that as part of like a contractual thing?
No, I mean, no, because we recorded it. It was never, they only own it if they pay for the studio time.
Yeah, well, I didn't know how, how some labels they just own everything. It seems like.
Yeah, that's someone literally saying they own your brain.
Right.
They can't do that.
Yeah. Well,
so just because we send them a song doesn't mean they own the song, because all they have is a shitty demo of a song.
Right.
Or a tape this, thin. So they can't. Yeah.
So how many you did, like you said, almost 80 songs, you think?
Something stupid like that.
That's crazy, man.
I've got boxes of that shit.
Wow.
Yeah, it's stupid, man.
That's crazy.
Dangerous. Yeah, I have it all on this hard drive right here in front of me.
Will there ever be another Dangerous Toys record, like a new record? I know last time I talked to you online,
a lot of those songs ended up on Pissed, just to kind of clear that up.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Last time I talked to you, you were mentioning. I mean, this is going back a couple years that I messaged you on Facebook, and you had said that there might have been a Dangerous Toys EP or something that you guys were thinking about doing.
Yeah, let me just get to the end of what would be the answer to your question.
Mm-hmm.
For years and years, just to be clear, because it's in black and white. I've done interviews for years, saying, why would I want to make a new Dangerous Toys record when everybody wants to hear is Teasing and Scared so they can go home and relieve the babysitter? Which is why I just, I'm joking, but I'm not really joking.
Right.
And,
no, I know. Yeah, I know.
Everybody wants to hear Stairway to Heaven so they can go home. They want to hear the biggest song. They want to relive that MTV moment. Because they're a lawyer now. They're not 15 years old and a Headbanger t-shirt, whatever. And, I think rock and roll people are supposed to have bad attitudes, but I'm kind of mad at myself that I had that shitty of an attitude. No regrets on the interviews I did because it was how I felt at the time.
Yeah.
Since then, I thought it would be really fun and interesting, as well as have the relevant is not the right word at all, but to keep my head in the game when I play dangerous to when I do stuff with the toys. I feel like, well, I should invest. I should invest a little bit more into it, and I think that that's what if we write some songs and start talking possible new record. And we've let the cat out of the bag. There's a new song called Hold Your Horses, which we've been playing at some festivals and shit, until COVID. Hold Your Horses, it's on YouTube. There's some really shitty phone recordings of it, but there's a couple of them from Atlanta that we did Rocklanta in March of 2018 or something. I think that's what it was. And it's a good song, and it sounds like Dangerous Toys, and that's kind of the goal. That's where I was going. A lot of the class of '89, that the Bang Tangos and maybe not Bang Tango, but them too. LA Guns and Pussycat, and they've put out plenty of new records. Every couple of years.
Yeah, but Dangerous Toys was different. They were different.
I'm glad you're keeping me from talking about. I would rather hear House of Pain and Sex Action than anything that they put out, and that's on me. If those records are great, I don't know it because I don't know why those records are not hitting me, even though if they get good reviews and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why the newer records by all of my peers, I'll just say, are not hitting me between the eyes. I want them to kick me in the balls, and they're not. Their records are not in the balls.
I'm the same way.
I was just gonna say, Greeno's the same way.
George is hardcore, man. I mean, anybody puts anything out that he likes, that band, he sticks with them.
God bless him. That's there's something about a fan like that, Greeno. Yeah. There's really something about a fan like that, and
I mean, believe me, there's been albums that I went, I probably won't listen to this again.
It's good to hear you say that. It's good to hear you say that because I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
I don't want to go.
See, I don't think Dangerous Toys would ever be that type of band
because my bros made a record, and what the fuck is wrong with me? I don't like it. And if one of my bros tells me how great it is, and I go hear it, and I don't like it, what the fuck do I do? Oh yeah, thanks for turning me on to the new whatever, and it's half-hearted. It's bullshit. I'm not gonna fake it.
Yeah, I hear you.
Let me ask you a question. Would a band like Dangerous Toys maybe be better going down the road of maybe just putting out a single here and there? Hey, new tracks up. I mean, you're not going to get sales from albums, but are you really going to get sales from albums?
It's too late for that because we already got like 8 songs written. You want us to throw them in the garbage and just pick one?
Nope. We want the whole album now.
Now I'm leaning towards George, but Greeno, you're saying some good shit because it's important to think the modern way.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm a big fan of like the way AC.
I don't want to think the modern way, but we might be saving a lot of headache. Put them one at a time, but it makes me have nightmares or PTSD of the label going, nope, keep writing. You only give them one song. It's pretty good.
Right.
I want them to go, God damn, have you heard the new Toys?
Right.
Whether that's going to happen or not is really, it's at this point, it's not really up to me because now that I have like this nest with a bunch of eggs in it and I'm sitting on it and it's starting to really, I'm going, man, these babies are going to be condors.
Yeah.
Starting to think like that because the songs are fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
as to where 5 years ago, and they're like, fuck that shit. I'm not going to do that. Why would a bunch of 60-year-old dudes write songs about their dick again?
Because it's fun.
Somebody's got to do it.
Of course. But, Sporting Woody's been done.
Yeah.
Right.
So what do I do after that?
Just a straight up fucking rock album. That's all.
Let me tell you what I do. I write a song called Pretend It's Candy.
There you go.
Well, that's what I think. When I worked with Tom at Paris from like I want to say 98 to 2005 or so. So when you put Broken Teeth together, Tom, I think I was the first person that Tom called after he got off the phone with you about the project.
Yeah.
And dude, I remember thinking, "Oh shit, this is good." He's like, "Dude, it's like classic AC/DC." I'm like,
"That was 21 years ago, dude."
I know, it's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, we've got like 7, 9 albums out or some shit.
I have them all. I got them all on vinyl too.
Do you have the new one? Nice. Do you have the new one?
Oh fuck yeah!
It's on CD. No, the new one.
Oh, the DVD CD.
The live album.
Yeah, I have. It's right back here. Yep.
Sweet. Yeah, we like that. That thing's cool, man.
That was ripping. That was fun.
Yeah.
That's another, like, Broken Teeth to me is like in that same ballpark, is the same vibe as Dangerous Toys, like straight up dirty rock and roll. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
there's not really, what it's gonna do.
Yeah,
you're waiting for it.
Yeah. And the cover of Rock Bottom on here is killer. But I gotta admit, dude, the cover of Lightning Strikes, that you guys did on that Bulldozer EP,
I can't help but smile.
Dude, that is such a fucking great song, and the way you guys did it.
Thank you. We had a great. We were all like glowing when when you think about that song, you think about the original version with Aerosmith, and you think about it and you're going, man, yeah, that's a great Aerosmith song. But then when you go back and listen to it, when you're thinking about making, filling out an EP, let's say you got 3 or 4 songs and you wanted to, we should put these out as like an EP. It'll be fun. Yeah, let's do some covers. And what covers are we going to do? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Right. And we reached out to some friends and somebody said Lightning Strikes. And I was like, wait a minute. That's a song like we would write.
Yes. No, that's
a song that I feel like we could actually go listen to and like steal, like we stole everything else. Broken Teeth stole everything from AC/DC, Judas Priest, Motorhead, put it in a blender, and whatever that attitude is that comes out, we drink it.
It works.
Like the day at Guyana, like Jim Jones, we drank the punch, and that's the kind of music that Broken Teeth makes.
Dude, I wanted to say I'm totally late to the game on Broken Teeth. George has been telling me you got to check out Broken Teeth, and I'm like, okay, there's so much stuff. It's like I'll get around to it. But when you were coming to talk to us, it's like, okay, I got to check out Broken Teeth, and I'm like, what the fuck was I waiting on, man? This stuff.
I've been telling Greeno for 10 years, man. And
absolutely. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's not your fault. It's hard it's hard to be DIY and kind of underground and men of a certain age who are not exactly social media savvy, and just to promote yourself, or find someone online to put your record out, and then hope you sell 100 copies or whatever, because it's really hard unless you have some star power and a career already. That's another reason why Dangerous Toys make a new record. Who cares?
I think
who's gonna buy it? You know what I mean?
A lot of people. I honestly think that Dangerous Toys has more. It has Dangerous Toys to me were one of those bands like the Four Horsemen or even Junkyard. They had the big underground following. Anytime they came to town, the show, dude, I'd be walking around. I have my Dangerous Toy shirt on in like I don't know, 98, 2000 somewhere. And I stopped at a convenience store in the middle of nowhere. And the guy goes, he points at my shirt. He goes, "You like those guys?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude." He's like, totally unexpected. I never get any other points like with AC/DC or whatever, but a Dangerous Toy shirt, people always go, "Yo, I remember those fucking guys rule." You know, like, or somebody else scream "tease and pleasing" or something. You know, it's weird. I don't get that with any other bands.
Yeah, I'm glad that there was something different about it and that it stuck out.
It definitely into Philly. I think Philly really took a liking to Dangerous Toys early.
We had a lot of fans out there.
Yeah. They always had, like, all my friends growing up always loved Dangerous Toys, like that first and second record.
Yeah.
And then after I graduated and stuff, and then I went on to do my thing and lost friends. But even now we get back together and we'll throw something on, and Dangerous Toys always has to be in it, you know?
Wow.
It's crazy. But yeah, definitely around here that they had a big following around here.
Well, that kind of turns it into definition of a classic. You know, when it's like you put something on and all of a sudden it smells different in the room.
Yeah.
That's a kind of a thing. That's the way your brain works. Like when I hear certain Kiss songs or Elton John songs or Queen songs, it's like I disappear from the room I'm in, and I'm in my room when I was a kid hearing that shit for the first time. And I know the smell of the record when I just opened it, the smell of my room and outside and just the cars in the street. It's weird. It's the way your brain works, man.
Yeah, it all comes back.
For me, music's the only thing that can do that to me. Just hear, like you just said, you hear a certain thing and it's like, man, you're gone. You're back to wherever, you know.
Yep.
Hey, John has a question there.
Yeah, man. What is it?
Hold on one sec. Do you have any stories about S.A. Slayer? Did you play gigs together?
Watchtower and S.A. Slayer played gigs all the time. There's this really cool book. There's this really cool book that came out last year called As Viewed from the Pit. That glare's terrible. And that is yours truly's backside on the front cover.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And it's photos from South Texas metal scene 78 to 89.
Oh, now we should tell everybody you are on the South Texas Walk of Fame, right?
Yes, the Texas Music Walk of Fame down in my home.
Music Walk of Fame.
Yeah. And I'm also in the Austin Music Award, well, the Austin Chronicle, Austin Music Awards Hall of Fame that they've been having every year since South by started.
Yeah.
And I'm in there 3 times.
Oh,
I'm in there with Watchtower. I'm in there with Watchtower. I'm in there with Dangerous Toys, and I'm in there by myself.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. Anyway, this book is crazy. I mean, this picture kind of sums up a lot. The glare is terrible, but you can't really see. I mean, there's the kid in the red T-shirt. That's a bootleg fan band. You know, it's a Watchtower shirt that kid made.
Oh, yeah.
That kid right there. How old can that kid be? 14?
Yep. I would say around 14.
And look at that. It's a thrash scene. There's like 700 people packed in that place, all the way to the back. You can see the 2 exit signs back there.
Yeah.
This was the Texas metal scene. This photo was taken in probably 1985.
Wow.
I was 20 years old. And this is you can tell it's a beautiful, badass book.
Yeah.
And back. I'm also on the back cover too. That's me in the suspenders with my shirt off. And I'm on this is Art Villarreal over here with he was in San Antonio Slayer. He played on Prepare to Die.
Oh, okay.
These dudes over here, this is the singer for Carrion. This is Chris Kronk. He was once in San Antonio Slayer. And the dude next to him, that's Buster Grant, who was in a band called Wizard. And all of these bands, these that I'm mentioning, they were gods the metal scene in Texas in the 80s was incredible. And see the quote on the back? That's me too. I'm all over this stuff. So, and it's true. And then it's funny. It's interesting. I went and saw Murder in the Front Row, the movie about the Bay Area thrash scene.
Mm-hmm.
And Kirk Hammett says the same thing, almost word for word. He's like, those times, and he's crying when he says it, which I totally teared up. He was like, look, that's my life. That was like, if I wouldn't have those moments, I wouldn't be alive. That changed my whole perspective and world.
Yeah.
Anyway, pretty insane. Anyway, this thing's in the back. It's got flyers. Like they're recreations of tickets and flyers from shows back then.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
Dude, this thing is cool. And if I open some of these pages, it's more a photo album than it is a like stories. There's very little words. Like the pictures tell the story. Look at this right here. So that's me, and again Art Villarreal, who played on Prepare to Die, and that's me with some bangs. Look at that haircut.
Yeah,
it could have been 84, and that's Liliana Martinez, who has passed on, but she was like a scene photographer back then and knew everyone. She was total pro. And then the nice young gent next to Liliana with the curly hair, that is one and only Nasty Ronnie from Nasty Savage.
yeah, it is.
Yeah. And so the book is full of badass shit like that.
Greeno, you got that book yet?
No, I'm just getting ready to ask Jason where can I order that book from?
Out of print.
Out of print.
Out of print. Here's one of the spreads. This is this is all Watchtower stuff, right? This is all that's me holding a trophy. I used to come out on stage and go, all right, the whole audience needs to thrash their ass off, and whoever thrashes the hardest wins this trophy. And it's a trophy I got at like Goodwill for golfing or something.
Right.
And I would just pick someone out after the next song and give it to them. But you know what? It would start to fit quick. And then right next to it is an early promo pic for San Antonio Slayer.
Wow.
And
dude,
that's Dave McClain on one side of the Angel, who's in Sacred Reich, who was in Machine Head forever. And then the other guy on the other side of the Angel, that's Don Van Stavern, who's in Riot, who was in Evil United, et cetera, et cetera.
Wow.
So basically, that's the greatest yearbook. You have the greatest yearbook of all time. You can sit there and look through.
You could say that this is my yearbook. Yeah.
Your youth in a book. That's awesome, man.
Thank God the guy that Juan that made this. Thank God he exists. And just went to the labor of love. Didn't make any money. Here's some crazy candid shots. That's Watchtower rehearsal. I'm like doing terrible things to my microphone. That's Billy White and Rick Colaluca from Watchtower, and those were just shots from rehearsal that someone submitted.
Wow!
And
John wants to know if
it goes. I was looking for some. This is cool. This is actually a photo of the Slayer logo that they used to put on the Marshall head. You see, it's got the screw holes in it.
Oh yeah!
Wow.
So it was the plaque that they used to take the Marshall logos off all the Marshalls and put the Slayer logos instead. And everyone's doing that shit now.
Yeah, that's cool.
Hey, John wants to know if you still have the studs and leather from back in the day.
Well, you mean like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there they are right there. They're in the other room with my wardrobe.
So you still have them.
That's killer.
Well, I've got versions of, right?
Right.
I don't really have the ones, you know what I'm saying? I don't really have the ones that are in the photos.
Okay.
You lose a lot of shit, you give a lot of shit away. Oh, I'll never wear this, Oh, what's this old shit doing here? I wish I did. But you grow up and then you wish you didn't.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So
I hear you.
Yeah. But anyway, you guys got any more questions?
Nah, man, I think we're gonna wrap it up because I know Greeno's probably gotta go to bed.
Don't we all?
Oh,
I definitely want to have you back, man.
Yeah,
to go through the broken teeth stuff, and hopefully, by the sounds of it, talk about a new Dangerous Toys record.
Well, that's already being talked about. I mean, I can talk about it as much as you want. I can talk about it right up to the point where the only thing left to do would be play you the demos.
Okay.
But I probably shouldn't do that because I don't think that the other guys would think that's cool.
That's quite all right.
Yeah, but the fact that there are like really cool sounding demos of brand new material is awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it kind of is. It kind of is exciting.
Well, I look forward to it for sure. Well, Jason, man,
don't hold your breath, but yeah.
Yeah, I know we've been messaging each other for years, so it was good to catch up on here.
Yeah, man.
And I definitely have you back on for sure. Like I said, to go through all the broken teeth stuff, and
that would be a good show. Me and because it's we could go in depth in how it all happened from Tom Mathers basically being involved in helping create the idea of Broken Teeth.
Yeah,
it was kind of his idea originally, and there's a story behind that. But there's so many records we could go song by song and just talk about what and how and what and anything. But
that'd be awesome.
I was going to say,
I didn't know about the Dirty Looks connection with Paul until reading.
Yeah, Paul moved to Texas, to Austin in '94 January. He was on the Pissed record and the Artist record. We started Broken Teeth together in '99, and at about 2006, a good few years later, we got a booking agent. And he booked us a U.S. tour. And long story short, Paul couldn't stay gone for that long for whatever reason. And we took his roommate out. So, his roommate's in the band now. But Paul is still in the Toys. I talk to Paul all the time.
Yeah, that's cool.
He's one of the greatest human beings to walk the planet.
Oh, and real quick, the Artist album I remember EMP was talking about putting it out on vinyl at one point.
Yeah, probably not going to happen.
No, okay.
Probably not going to happen. We have since run into Deadline Cleopatra. We realized almost too late, that they have a perpetuity clause. They reissued Pissed and the Artist.
Yeah.
Immediately after that label, originally DMZ, Dose DMZ Records, went belly up.
Yeah.
And which was going to be part of my story earlier, but that's not important. And they reissued the record, and by that time, it was just kind of too little, too late.
Yeah.
And so hooked up with Tom and David at EMP, and we did the Pissed, and we're talking about doing other things. And then I got calls from basically music managers. They weren't like attorneys, but I was being served just by getting a cease and desist kind of a call from people from Deadline Cleopatra that were saying there's a perpetuity in motion for those two records, and you can't put those up digitally. They didn't say anything about physical. They're not worried about physical because even though the new AC/DC is almost double platinum, physical sales, isn't that something?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome.
Incredible. Yeah, I don't think it's double platinum. I bet you after Christmas, by into Christmas.
Yeah, it's #1 in 18 countries this week.
What are you gonna do? Hey,
I know.
Right? That's pretty exciting.
That's amazing.
Physical copies are selling like. It's been a long time since a band has been able to go, dude. Guess what? Target is selling more copies of it on vinyl than CD. It's kind of weird. AC/DC is smart. and everyone loves AC/DC. So you have to you play everything in. It's like, duh, of course it's going to do that. Not physical. Yeah, it's iffy on physical. Anyway,
Right.
so yeah, that was artists probably won't
Okay.
do it. Besides, I don't want it to come out on CD again because I still have like 2,000 copies of it on CD in my fucking garage.
Well, you know, Cleopatra put out a Dangerous Toys record a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
I don't see any of that.
No, but did you know that was out?
Yes.
Okay.
And that is the most butthole artwork I've ever seen.
It's not even the clown.
No, it's not.
No.
So my emails and phone blew up. Is this legit? And I'm like, just one word. Nope.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I mean, you know, the way the business goes is when, you know, when your popularity is waning, your boat is kind of sinking a little bit and things aren't going as, you know, when you're not on top anymore and you're kind of da-da-da-da-da, and you just put out a fucking record or two and it's still just been, nothing's happened, no dents, nothing's happening, no rise, nothing's happening, it's just slowly going like this. Well, your managers and, you know, stuff make decisions for you, and that's how that perpetuity deal. It's like we got bought out, and they reissued those records just to try to see if we could get a spike.
Right.
Nothing.
No.
So, you know, years go by, you become old and feeble, and you don't remember or recall any kind of perpetuity attached to anything. Oh, that's probably way over with by now.
You would think. That's crazy.
Perpetuity means forever. That means it goes on and on and on.
That's why they put out the same thing with the different title and different artwork every year.
Right. Yeah. That's right. That's right, because the songs they have, that falls under that umbrella. The perpetuity. Perpetual.
So basically the Crash Helmets, the live thing.
Right, the Crash Helmets, they have rights to that.
That's probably what that album is.
That's what that is. That's fair. That is, but that's everywhere.
Yeah, right.
Westwood One put that out.
That was the old Westwood One thing.
That was from that tour. I had the concussion when I did that. It's from Boston, Orpheum Theater.
I have the actual radio show.
Unbelievable. You're the second person I've ever seen that actually has that show on vinyl.
Yeah. I bought it back then.
Yeah. Oh, that's
bought it
amazing.
in like 89, 90,
really?
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
So the test pressing, that's the actual records that they sent out to the radio station.
Yeah, this is the actual Westwood One thing.
Play copy. Yeah. So we fucked up Sporting a Woody that night. We had a false start in the break. Yeah? If you listen to Sporting a Woody, and you'll hear us fuck up.
That's funny.
Yeah. So when we did it, when we put that record out, I had somebody edit it and just kind of close the gap, and you can't really hear the fuck up. Kind of interesting, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, they have the Pissed album and the Artist album and whatever that live shit. So
cool.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. All right, brother.
It happened to Black Sabbath in the 70s.
Yeah, Live at Last.
All that stuff.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, dude, I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, it's been
no problem.
Yeah, this was a great episode, and I can't wait to, we'll have you back on after the holidays sometime.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, brother.
Thanks everybody for watching and the questions, man. That was
good. And we'll talk to everybody real soon.
Take care, internet land.